After an exciting Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas, Formula One heads to Brazil. The Sao Paulo Grand Prix will take place on Sunday, November 13th. In this video, we will look at the circuit layout, the track history, and the top 5 things to watch for at this weekend's Grand Prix. Let's get started. The Interlagos circuit has hosted the Brazilian Grand Prix since 1973. Its construction was finished in 1940 and was Brazil's first autodrome. The circuit length is about 4.3 kilometers with a race distance of 305 kilometers. At present, there are 71 laps. This weekend's Grand Prix will feature this year's third and final sprint qualifying race. The circuit resembles an oval track with its banked corners and goes in a counterclockwise direction. This, along with its hilly surface and many inclines, present a huge challenge for the drivers. During the race, the centrifugal forces in left turns move the driver's neck to the right instead of the left like on other circuits. Until 2013, the Brazilian Grand Prix was the last race on the calendar and the title decider. This week it is the penultimate race and will likely be a nail-biter. Currently, rain is in the forecast for the entire weekend. Unpredictable weather has been a staple of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Now let's look at the top things to watch for at this weekend's Grand Prix. Can Red Bull win again? Red Bull has won both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship, but the season's not over yet. The battle for second place in the Drivers' Championship is intense, with only 5 points separating Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc. Red Bull's last win in Sao Paulo was in 2019, with Verstappen winning the race. Red Bull and Mercedes have won the Brazilian Grand Prix 5 times each. The sprint race is likely to give Red Bull an advantage. Verstappen currently holds the F1 sprint race record with 3 wins and 23 points. This year's sprint points distribution is different to last year's. The driver who's fastest in qualifying will be on pole, while points will be awarded to the top 8 finishers. Verstappen finished second in last year's race, and Perez's best showing occurred in 2016 when he took 4th place while he was driving with Force India. It'll be interesting to see if Sergio Perez or Max Verstappen can win this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton honored by Brazil. This week, Hamilton was awarded honorary citizenship by the Brazilian government. The Sao Paulo Grand Prix now becomes his second home race. Although Hamilton has not won any races this season, he heads into Brazil with 2 consecutive second-place finishes in Austin and Mexico City. Lewis has won in Sao Paulo 3 times, 2016, 2018, and 2021, all with Mercedes. His most dramatic moment in Brazil was in 2008 when he clinched his first World Championship by 1 point on the last lap despite finishing 5th. Last year was another nail-biter for Hamilton. He took P1 in qualifying but was excluded because of a DRS infringement on his rear wing. He started the sprint race last but finished 5th. An engine change penalty saw him being dropped 5 places on Sunday. After starting P10, Lewis stormed through the field for a sensational victory, overtaking race leader Verstappen on lap 59. We know that Lewis loves Brazil, so it'll be interesting to see if he can secure his first victory of the season in Sao Paulo. Open seat at Haas. There is only 1 race seat left to fill for the 2023 season. The big question in the paddock is who will partner Kevin Magnussen at Haas. Mick Schumacher and F1 veteran Nico Hülkenberg are vying for the remaining seat. It's Schumacher's second season in F1. Last year he outperformed his teammate Mazepin but saw a slow start to this season alongside Magnussen with 2 retirements in the first half of the season. He then scored back-to-back top 10 finishes in Silverstone and Austria. The main concern for Haas is that Mick has sometimes been costly to the team by crashing the car. In addition, he has not been as consistent as his teammate Kevin Magnussen. Hülkenberg hasn't raced a full season in F1 since 2019. In 2020, he was successful as a substitute racing for Racing Point in 2 races, finishing 7th and 8th. This year, he stepped in for Sebastian Vettel during the first 2 races, but failed to reach the top 10 in both. If Mick is serious about retaining his seat at Haas, he has to have a solid performance this weekend in Brazil. Schumacher is definitely a driver to watch for at this weekend's Grand Prix. Ferrari, Mercedes, and the midfield. Ferrari and Mercedes are in a battle for second place in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari have the second most Brazilian wins with 11, while Mercedes have 5. All of which came during the turbo hybrid era since 2014. Ferrari should have the edge if they can get their strategy and package right as they head into this weekend with 4 race wins and several podium finishes. The race for the top of the midfield is tight with 7 points separating Alpine and McLaren. McLaren's last win in Brazil dates back to Jenson Button's victory in 2012. Alpine last won in 1982. McLaren's only podium this year was Norris's third place in Imola. Both Alpine drivers have had several consecutive top 10 finishes this year. Norris has had similar results while Ricciardo has struggled in his second season with McLaren. He is, however, coming off a 7th place finish in Mexico where he had an impressive drive to close out the race. Ricciardo and McLaren have confirmed that his contract won't be renewed for next season. Daniel is currently exploring options as a reserve driver and is speculated to be talking with Red Bull and Mercedes. It'll be interesting to see if Daniel Ricciardo can help McLaren overtake Alpine in the championship. Hope this video helped you get ready for this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video and consider subscribing to the channel for more great Formula 1 content.